The Hellcat giveaway is going on right now, so make sure you enter. Times 10 to 15 entries could possibly be going on right now on InShaneDesigns.com. I have some new merchandise also up on the site, some t-shirts and a brand new hat dropping, so click the link down in the description. Win yourself a brand new Hellcat. All right, so who wants to cut our grass, because this is getting out of control? We're back at it with the F-150 poop build here. I got to jump it. I'm going to see if we can save it. Most likely going to need a new battery. And then we're going to continue on with this video with sort of a unorthodox thing I don't normally talk about in here, which is finances, which is actually pretty interesting in a case like mine, which is a growing channel, very young in terms of subscribers, content, stuff like that. So you guys will get all the ins and outs on all the money I've gained and a lot of money that I've lost on YouTube. Let's see if the vehicle gods were nice to us while we were gone. Maybe they charged it for us while we were away. Absolutely nothing. So most likely going to need a new battery, but just for fun, let's see if we can get this thing jumped. Real quick, while I have everyone here at the beginning of the video, I want to know, I've heard that jumping a dead battery is actually bad for the good vehicle. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I've heard it from a lot of people, so I'm assuming it's bad. But if anyone in the comments can explain why it's bad, if it's bad for the battery, like, I don't care. Batteries are a dime a dozen, which they are getting more expensive. But if it's bad for the vehicle itself, then I can see definitely not doing it and only doing it in emergency situations such as this. For anyone out there who's as unexperienced with vehicles as I am, I was always taught to put red on dead. So you hook up the red battery, the red terminal positive first, ground the one that's down, which is just like the little saying, you don't have to hook it to the negative terminal, but anywhere on the vehicle that's a ground. And then you come over here and do the opposite on the good battery. So let's get this hooked up, see if we can get it to run. Also, the 3.6 sounds awful at idle. This truck would be so sick in a V8, but I know I'm asking a lot for such a small build. But still, the clicking and just the wimpy noises coming from this truck, it just looks so aggressive, and then the engine doesn't do it justice. All right, all hooked up. I was sort of expecting the car alarm to go off on the F-150, just if it had any amount of charge left in it that we could save it. I always hate that. So like, it's like, oh, a door's open and nothing's reset in the computer, so it thinks that it's being stolen. Apparently that's what happened. I think what happened was, and I should go off the record on saying this, I shouldn't even tell you guys, but I think that some of the neighbors were kind of confused and concerned, like, hey, there's this random truck on our new neighbor's property, came down here, opened the door, which wasn't supposed to be open. Like, it probably thought like, hey, the locks are engaged, and they don't because it's such an old piece of junk truck. And whenever they opened it, the car alarm went off and they didn't know how to turn it off, and it just sat here for probably 6 hours just honking the horn and eventually died. That's what I gathered from this, because apparently the neighbor said that the horn was going off, unless it went off on its own. It's been hooked up for about, I'd say, a minute, 60 seconds, not nearly enough to get this thing to go. I stand corrected. Come on up here, come here, come on. The only thing that sucks though is I said that if I did this, what are you doing? Come here, come on, get up here. I said that if it would start, that I would jump it. So let's go do that real quick, and then I can get to the rest of the video. You guys cannot be in here though, I'm sorry. Can't be in here. Spangler, Ladesh, I need you, buddy. I'm gonna have to do this all on my own now, get the film set up. Wow, only a minute. The battery must be in good health for it to fire up just like that, because I had no response out of the gauges. So very nice, very nice. First impressions, first time I've ever driven this truck. It's not good. It barely made it up the hill. I'm assuming because these are street tires and there's not much left to them. I had it in rear wheel drive, and the grass is a little bit long and slick, so wasn't good. Also, it felt like it was about to fall apart at around 25 miles an hour in the dirt. So hopefully this goes good on the jump. All right, that wasn't that bad. A little bit of an overshoot. So let's try it again with a little less speed, see if we can get this thing dialed in. I'll do it one more time for you guys before this thing completely snaps in half. And then I gotta buy another junk truck for the little challenge that we have going. So let's run it again. All right, little miscalculation on that one. It's so hard to tell on the speedometer how fast you're going because the rear wheels are spinning the entire time because I'm trying to pick up speed, so I had to feather it. So there's times it'll be up to 40. It's probably inaccurate to begin with. and the rear wheel's just about maybe a foot short. Otherwise, that would have been the most crisp landing ever. It's kind of funny though, the first one, I just couldn't get it dialed in out of the two. The first one, I landed the whole way out here, so completely overshot the landing ramp. But the second one was definitely too short, but so close to it being absolute money. But hey, 2 runs, truck's running good. My back window shattered a little bit more the second time there, just because it was so rough. But you know what, even with the junk tires, I think this thing's gonna do pretty well, especially against that poopy RAV4 down there. Don't got nothing on us, even though I know that's the fan favorite. But I had a lot of support for the F-150. I guess a lot of the watchers, viewers owned one like this generation. This is 1999, I think it is. I did no research on this. It was just such a good deal, 4-wheel drive truck. I figured, why not? Let's make it run. So I want to go through vehicle by vehicle on my channel and let you guys have a little bit of an inside view on my life and how it goes with finances. We'll start back. We're not going to start with like the Xterra or the GTI. Obviously, those were already vehicles that I had bought and paid off, so that has really nothing to do with this. Besides, the channel was so small back then, it doesn't really make sense to include them. So I think we're going to start at the Dakota. I think that's a good starting point for us in the channel. The Dodge Dakota, as some of the OG fans on this channel know, let me get the steering wheel out of the way, know that it was a fan favorite. It's just that it was a junker old truck. I think it was like a 1993. I made several videos with that thing. One of them actually took off. It was the one where Mike ran into it and then we just wrecked it. So it was a total loss. I probably could have sold the truck for around $1,000, maybe $800. That video grossed around, I think, $1,000 back in its heyday. It was $1,000 for 122,000 views, which is pretty impressive for that truck. And there were other ones like the Jump where it did like a little bunny hop and was destroyed. That really messed it up. I think that's when I decided, hey, we got to get rid of this thing. So I paid, it was actually a gift from my father, but I probably would have paid $500 for something like that. And by gift for my father, I mean, like, that's just his beater truck that he had. And he's like, hey man, I'll give it to you so that you can make content with it. So I really appreciate him helping me out, and that helped the channel out a ton. It brought in a whole bunch of new fans. And a video that's been blowing up for whatever reason. I say blowing up, but it got like 3,000 views whenever I posted it. And within the last year has cultivated around another 22,000 views because I guess people are interested in the content, which is, I straight piped it. I cut the exhaust off, and it sounded actually pretty good.
Oh yeah! Oh yes! That sounds so good!
Yeah, I was super impressed with how it actually sounded. And after that, I can't remember if I had the Mustang or the 1500. So the Mustang, I put a little bit of money into, Corsa cold air intake. Mike gifted me the wheels and tires for it, so that wasn't out of my pocket. But let's say you wouldn't have a YouTuber as a friend, you would have had to have dropped about $1,000 on wheels and tires. And then the wrap, which In-Chain Designs was running like a promo back then. It was like, hey, if creators want to come in and have us wrap your car, we'll do it for free. So that would have been about another $2,500 to $3,000 wrapped up in the vehicle. So I would have lost an insane amount because no one cared about the Mustang. It was a 2011 GT50, which was cool. I loved it. I loved how the car looked and performed. It did really well at Slipstream racing against Beaver, which was a cammed Corvette that he had built up, which it beat me most of the time, but I had one race where I got lucky and just hit the shifts right. So that car did prove itself. Financially though, probably lost around, I'd say, $3,000 with it, but that was my daily for the whole summer and I had a lot of fun. So that one I would chalk up as just a 0. I broke even on that vehicle. Now the 1500 Chevy that I bought, the 6.5, or it was actually 2500, the 6.5 diesel, that truck cost me around $1,100, which was an outstanding deal. It was amazing. My first diesel truck, it sounded great. I really didn't have to put any work into it other than the brake lines, which was $700. But we had a video blow up on that one that was like 72,000 views, and that one cultivated, I think, around $400 to $500. And with all the videos added up, none of them really blew up, but that one did the best. I'd say that one was enough to make me around $1,000. So it did pay itself off, plus the subscribers. And at that point you think, okay, well, all these vehicles seem like losses, until a fan, a viewer, Rhett, go follow him on Instagram, because the truck, unfortunately, after I sold it to him, has been nothing but a basket case, just costing him thousands and thousands of dollars. He should be making a video about it instead of me. But I sold it to him for, I think, $3,000, and so it made its money back, obviously, from the YouTube videos, and then profited $3,000, which is amazing. So that truck did really well for the channel. If I have any advice for someone trying to start a new YouTube channel, do not go the sports car route. Unless you're going to buy something brand new, like a C8 Z06, whenever that comes out, it's otherwise hopeless. There's just no room to make any money on these old builds, that it's going to be enough to pay back the vehicle. The next vehicle I acquired after that was Mike's old Duramax, the OG Duramax. That was So much fun, brought a lot of new viewers to the channel. Obviously, I'm in the black with that 100% because even after it was wrecked, Mike bought it back for me for what I paid for it. So a lot of this, I'm trying to explain to you guys that it is so difficult to do YouTube, so difficult to make money, especially if you're just starting out. And even with Mike helping me, I still lose money. This truck has cost me way more than it's ever probably gonna make back. The wrap was $2,000. The build for the lift, parts, all that stuff, I'm over $6 grand in modifications on this truck, and I just can't imagine how someone would be able to do that when they're just trying to work a 9 to 5 and they can't afford a vehicle like this, and they're anticipating YouTube to make that money back. But back to the Duramax, I had to put a wrap on it. That was $2,000. And then whenever it broke the front, IFS and a whole bunch of other stuff, when I broke that, that was $3,000 as well. So that was $5 grand on that truck that I lost just with modifications and repairs. There was a lot more that was wrong with it. If it wouldn't have been wrecked, that I would have had to have fixed. It had a radiator leak problem. It would overheat, and obviously then after it was wrecked, it was totaled. So I have nothing I could do with that. I'm going to be bringing you guys an update video on that OG Duramax here, probably my next video or the next. We'll see how you guys feel about it. Let me know in the comments if you want an update on the OG Duramax, and I can let you guys in on everything that's going on with it and everything that's not going on with it. It's definitely a sad story. So I sort of skipped ahead here, and I'm the whole way to the ZR2. I'm trying to do this quick because it doesn't seem like this would be that interesting for you guys. Maybe it is, I don't know. But the ZR2, probably my favorite build. It looks the best out of anything I've built so far. The OG Duramax purple didn't work out like I wanted to. I wanted it to be a little bit more of a shiny purple. This wrap, however, turned out amazing. I love it. And the cheap truck build, since we were able to jump it, it's cost me $1,000, and the video I posted about already, I think made me back like 50 bucks. So we're chipping away at what it cost me. You think that YouTube makes you a ton of money, like 100,000 views, you think we get you at least $1,000. It doesn't. It makes you around 700. So it's definitely razor thin margins whenever it comes to this. And if you can do it full time, you can write stuff off. Unfortunately, I'm not doing this full time. The only thing that keeps me afloat, besides having an amazing friend like Mike to sort of plug the leaks for me and help his buddy out, is In-Chain Design. Since I've been selling merchandise on there, that really helps bridge the gap. So if you guys ever feel like you want to support me, I know we troll this into you, and I even had a promo at the beginning of the video. I didn't mean this for this to just be a big sob story and ad read, but it does help with making builds. With ISD, that's the only reason the truck's wrapped. The money from that goes to fund this build. It's the only reason the truck has a lift. It's the only reason I was able to afford this junk F-150 and jump it. And I don't care if it breaks because I have disposable income now. Even though I'm trying to buy a house and build it about 50 feet away from me, it helps out a lot. I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. I'm sure there's plenty of comments that are like, man, complain harder, like all you do is bitch and moan. I don't want that to be the case at all. This is sort of not a warning, but maybe some advice to people who are trying to make a YouTube channel, that it is very, very difficult to, even with all my buddy's help, who's famous and helps me out every chance he can, it still is very difficult. Part of that being I'm not super entertaining. If you have the charisma and the ideas, the thought, you don't need ISD selling shirts for you. You don't need crazy stuff on your truck like this wrap. You just need your charisma, attitude, and crazy stuff. That's why people like Whistle and Diesel and stuff like that, and Mike, they do very well because they're insane. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Say jump in the comments, and next video I'll jump the ZR2 even with all the bells and whistles on it, and I'm scared to break her, but say jump in the comments, I'll jump it. And you know what, if you don't want to jump, say jump twice in the comments, because I know a lot of people don't want to break this truck. I don't think it's going to break. It's built up probably a little bit better than a 22-year-old F-150. Thank you guys so much for watching. Likes are always appreciated. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, where I sit in a field and talk to myself and my dogs eat grass. Cheap truck challenge, baby. Let's go.